Peasant Productions presents the math of ESP, why it works even if you don't believe in it. The 84th day of my locking the Mexican police out to protect myself, to publish a story. The mindset right now is pretty decent. I'm doing good, and to try and keep it really short, I have started what is in Christianity, Catholicism, called the inedita. You don't eat anything but the manna of God, the energy of the gods, the spiritual energy type of a thing. And Christianity, Catholic churches have several recorded instances of this. There was a nun, because she went for like 40 or 50 years without eating anything more than her communion wafer and that sip of wine that they give. And she was very definitely supposed to have been, you know, a heavy scientific evidence of it and all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't put much faith in the, Catholicism routines, especially where I am right now and what I know about the town I'm in and the people trying to murder me. Yes. There is also, at that same time that I was researching that out, there was also, amongst many different things, yogi, who is quite famous. There is the non-eating yogi. And I know that in the case of a woman yogi that did the non-eating routine, apparently she was in public at about 12 years of age, and somebody made rude comments. She took it badly. She went and found a yogi so that she would never have to eat again. Okay, and she learned how to do the meditation, and she went on to something like 68 years of never eating food. She died in her I think she died in her mid to late 70s, and she, like I said, was about 12 years old. So somewhere up there in the high 50s to 60s without ever touching food. And again, this wasn't the Catholic Church. This was, yogic stuff over there in another country, and they also recorded it down. So I know about this. I'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit. But that mindset, that level of understanding of the spiritual realm is something that I'm well aware of. And I have been talking about the free will effect, what you know, what you have playing in your head. If you are the mass public sheep who believe that you have to join the political party in order to clean out the corruption in that political party, and then sit there and say, but nothing ever changes anyways. So you are not capable of processing the thought that joining that political party means that you become part of the corruption first. To show that you are a trusted member, you must act corruptly. And then you're going to try and do something to clean up what you're a part of. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So you're going back to the belief of nothing ever changes and nothing happens. You're always going to be broke. You always talk about how you not got enough time, you don't have enough money, there isn't this, there isn't that, it's not going to happen and all of that. That is the energy you're putting out, right? Okay, so you don't get where you want to go. Me, I have a long history of beating the odds. 60 years old, I was told I was designed to beat the devil. And I have been put up against many challenges all through life, which I'm going to show. And one of the most obvious things I want to do is real quickly hit on this image here, where I drove a race car in 2015. First time ever driving a race car. First time ever driving a race car at speed. As you can see, I've got slick tires on and all of that, okay. I'm on a race course. This is an actual piece of the video footage. And I was told before I got into that car that the car would only do 150. My desire when I bought those 2 8-minute rides was to beat 150 miles an hour. Got told that I wasn't going to be able to do that. If I was really good and an expert driver, I could hit 153. So I went into that car knowing that I had to be just as absolutely precise as possible. I knew that I had a spotter, and I had to do what that spotter told me to do. I followed directions, absolutely. And I also used my ability, which is well known by anybody. I mean, mechanics have watched them, you know, sit there and do some tune-up work on my car or look at something, see me walk up and go, well, let's, and I, you know, do a little minor adjustment, and suddenly the car is just a pinch better. Minolta, Konica Minolta, the guys were forever asking how, one, I could sit there and they're out of paper in the paper tray, or almost out of paper in the paper tray, and I walk over to a stack of paper, pick up a stack, put it in there, and I've got almost the exact amount necessary to where I rarely have to go back and grab some more, or I've got to put some back because I grabbed too much. I just sew constantly, and just enough to fill it up to the proper level, and then we close the drawer. I would be, you know, running stuff through the machines, and they're like, how the heck do you do this? How do you keep making this machine do these things? So I've always been able to push machinery and stuff just a little further, and I went 160 miles at 0.5 miles an hour. 7.5 miles an hour faster than what the Mario Andretti company stated was the governor on the machine limit. If you wanted to go faster than 150 miles an hour, you had to buy more time, and then you would be allowed to. I had a double, okay? Takes 16 minutes, 8-minute drive, stop, park, sit in the car, they let you go again, you do another 8 minutes. That's all I had, 16 minutes to figure that car out and do that. So that's the kind of person I am overall. I have a list of wins in my life. 1960, I was given to Leonard. And my mother basically just says, here, you know, out the door with you, kid, I don't want you anymore. And and Leonard, took me home and announced I wasn't his kid and never would be. And 3 days later, and it was still a family joke in 2015 with Leonard, that, I walked up at 2.5 years of age and said, hey, so I live here now, right? And he says, yes, no, okay. And I turned around and walked away. And we never discussed the fact that I had been given to that guy again. I simply dealt with whatever he put out, whether it was physical abuse, whether it was physical work I had to do, whether it was insults, it didn't matter. I just simply dealt with Leonard all my life. I'm still alive, 2019, 61 years old, okay? He was always talking about how I had to pay him back everything. 62, 4 years of age, I created the computer punch card Christmas wreath, and he freaked out at the idea that in 2 hours of selling my little Christmas wreaths, I had made as much money as he made in his Los Angeles County engineer's job at the, I think at that time he was still with Public Works, the Water and Power Department, but he would later go on to the Plan Checking Department. But I made as much money as he did at a county position. I was also introduced to the camera at that point in time. I was given a camera, a little Japanese plastic camera, and I only got one smack on the butt for one of the 12 frames, just not being able to show what it was that I had photographed there. I realized I had a win there again. I was doing something that didn't get me in trouble, and it was fun. 66, Leonard got divorced again and moved into Glendale, bought an 8-unit apartment building, and I got declared the person that had to keep Leonard and Paul from being bothered by the tenants for problems. So I became the manager, quasi. 1970, because of the physical abuse by Leonard, 5 out of the 8 apartments, we lived in one, 7 more rented. 5 of those would come down and pull me out of the house when they heard me screaming because Leonard was beating the snot out of me. So I officially at that time became manager, because that was what they would do. They would not go, we need the manager, and he'd throw me out the door. Bloody and tears and all that, didn't matter. 76, I graduated high school. The vice principal of education, not the vice principal Tiffany, who was the punishment principal, but the vice principal of education, retired because of meeting me and trying to get in my face to tell me what to do with my life. Junior high, I also had a teacher get shocked that I graduated. 83, of course, I created the International Space Station. 35 years later, it's still the biggest monument to peace humans have ever made. Photo editor of 6 newspapers for 9 years. Never contested that I did anything wrong or in any way illegal. 93 to 2004, I did lawyering work. And I have a broken shoulder here because I was told to shut up, and if I ever enter a courtroom again, I'll be killed. And this was the warning they gave me. Well, they broke my shoulder, they damaged my back, my chest, all of that very badly. In doing so, I spent 19 months in prison being told, shut up or we'll kill you. That's all there is to it. So again, that's a win. Stop and think about it. They threatened to shut me down because I was simply doing what was legal. 2015, I left saying, hey, you guys are going to be in martial law pretty quick. The next president is going to be Trump, and you people don't understand how deep into fascism you're going to be. Here in 2019, it's full in everybody's face. Donald Trump has just declared that he has declared a national emergency to build a border wall and be able to string all the military he wants across that border to prevent people from going south because he's preventing Mexicans from coming north. And real quick, back to 2003, I have a calendar I'm going to pull up. As you can see, I did a 32-day fast, and in that fast I did the eating manna meditation. I sat there and literally, because there was nobody around to deal with me in any way, the town itself had sat there, and I had put up a sign and told people, I'm doing a Gandhi death fast. I want my son back. How dare you take my son and just leave the state with him and tell me I have no legal right to see my kid anymore. And the town, to a person, even the most environmentally, human rights protective females in town, oh, you're not dead yet, Peter. Get out of here. See you later. Bye. And it was quite interesting. So I realized that they were just going to let me sit and die. The same way, here I am in this apartment, and basically the Mexicans are waiting for me to either come out that door so they can kill me or to drop dead in here. Okay? But I did the fast, and when I realized that I was, basically in the position of being left to die by society, I decided to practice the in-edita meditation and then simply choose a number of how many days I was going to fast. And at that point, I'd already beaten Gandhi's 21 days. Okay, the next 23 number is 32. So let's do it until the 32nd day, and on the 33rd day I'll end the fast. And so that's what I did. I fasted for 32 days. I did the in-edita. I was getting on the scale. I was watching how much water I was drinking and all of this. And I watched myself build weight over a period of days and all of that. So doing that right now, the lightheadedness that was happening a week ago or further back as I was getting down on food and going into a fast has gone away now. I'm feeling much more strength in myself, and if I feel lightheaded, I know how to just pull the energy in and continue myself in existing and living and all of that. So I'm doing well, 84 days along, and I do have the mindset from historical evidence here of my life. The gods and I are discussing it because there are implications of prophecies. Like I said, I'm meeting so many prophecies that even if humans are not recognizing any of it, the God place, you are literally on the brink of World War III right now. There's enough people throwing bombs around and enough public unrest with the yellow vests and the various, school children and all of that. You're in for something getting ready to happen. So OccupyISS, we're still alive and kicking.